All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man, Jay. Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra here. Going to be discussing this device with you after about 5 days with this particular color, because my original one was a jet black and I had it for about 3 days and I had to swap it out. But this one right here is the silver blue or something like that. It's called titanium silver blue. And it definitely looks different at different angles. But the color is neither here nor there. It's a sexy looking phone and I really like it. And I'm just happy that I was able to get another one so quickly. Let me give you my honest feedback so far, because we're still early on, and we want to make sure we give the device a fair shake. So how do I feel about it? First off, and by the way, this video is being recorded by the OnePlus 13 at 1080p at 60 frames per second. So first off, I want to say that I think this device looks really nice. It looks like the other versions, but the mild changes in the hardware make it in hand feel different than the S24 Ultra. So I've gone on record and said these devices are pretty much the same devices, just kind of swapping out minor things on it, and that remains to be, for me, that's not some people look at that as a derogatory statement or a put down, but in reality, folks, the Galaxy S24 Ultra was amazing, is amazing. And if you're on the fence about this device, just get a Galaxy S24 Ultra. I'm in no way trying to deter you from getting a previous generation phone, because the fact of the matter is Samsung I'm not going to say they're being lazy. They're playing it safe. That's a really nice way of saying, that in a way that people won't be so sensitive about the words, but they are playing it safe. Whether you like Samsung or not, if you have the Galaxy S24 Ultra, I've told you before, do as I say, not as I do. And that's to imply that, or just to directly tell you should probably just keep your current S24 Ultra. And if the only reason you are switching is because you want to keep up what was current with Samsung, that's perfectly fine, folks. There's nothing wrong with buying a new device every year. It's your prerogative, your money, your choices. You do what you want to do. But from a consumer standpoint, where I'm trying to save people money and keep them informed, who don't want to do the legwork, who don't want to buy the phone, try to exchange the return if they don't like, you don't want to do that. These are some times where YouTube could be helpful to you. So hardware wise, they've made minimal changes on this thing, but the minimal changes are nice. I'm not too much of a fan of the completely flat sides and the completely flat back. When it comes to holding something like this in your hand, you do want a little bit of comfort and curve in your hand and your palm. Now, while these aren't as sharp as the Galaxy S24 Ultra, they still have some sharpness to them. And so it's not as comfortable as holding, say, a Pixel 9 Pro XL or a OnePlus 13 or an iPhone. It's not as comfortable as holding some of these phones because they're way more rounded. Let me grab. They're way more rounded on the corners. And so you could see the difference. It just feels better in the hand. And that's just a thing, man. Comfort when you're holding the phone is important. Now, some of you guys have said, Jay, just put a case on it. Well, I'm team caseless, or team no case. But when I do rock a case, it's going to be an ultra thin case, or it has to be a really good case, like some of the Binks cases, or the ones that are full form fitting, but they will give that little roundness on the corners that I like to feel when holding such a large device. But that being said, the hardware to me, it's a slight improvement. It does make it feel better than the Galaxy S24 Ultra, but it's still not to my standards of what I would consider a very comfortable device to hold. Now, to offset that, I do have my Galaxy S25 Plus, which I think is a much better feeling phone in the hand. Obviously, it's a little bit smaller, but it's got way more rounded corners. Again, the corners play a huge part. Look at that, how much more rounded it is. And if they were to do the S25 Ultra like this and then keep it at this same size, more people were probably a lot happier with the design and form factor in the hand. The Galaxy S25 Plus is absolutely great. I really like it. And thanks to the people that were correcting me in the comments once again, saying this isn't jet black, this is blue black. Well, I appreciate it. In person, you will soon see, if you get this device, that it looks like it's black. Now, hardware, I like it. Not my favorite. There are several other phones out there that I prefer over this phone when it comes to the feeling in hand. That's just my thoughts on it. Now, I do like the larger camera rings around here because I always put camera rings on my phones for protection and don't really need to on this one. If they do come out with some camera rings on here, I'm going to be like, wow, I might not want to use them. I might just test them for you and then take them off, because look at the camera rings around here. Look at how beautiful that is. You see how it's like a color match? Yeah, but when you turn it this way, it's just completely black. But you get it to the angle and you can see the color match around the camera rings. I think that's an absolutely beautiful touch. I think I was watching BG Tech Life's video, and I think he was pointing out as well about the mirror finish along the side of the modules. I really can respect that. I mean, I think Samsung has done a great job with the way this phone looks. If you remember, I said I prefer this look over some other camera module setups. Like, it's time for some companies to change their camera module. I like the Pixel's camera module, and I really like Samsung's camera module. It's almost like they're filling it in with the camera modules, making them bigger in this area right here. So I really can appreciate that. Power button and volume rocker are in the right spot, in my humble opinion. And you've got some noise canceling microphones, and, you know, speaker quality and everything is good on here. I'll point out before I get into anything else. And here's the S Pen. Now, the S Pen color, this is like a bluish gray looking color here. You know, it's a matter of what you like. I definitely did not like on the jet black, the pen a completely different color. I don't understand that, but it is what it is. There's really nothing you can do about it. You just have to roll with what they give you. And this pen is kind of a different color too. And I guess it's something to offset the colors or whatever, but it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. You're just writing with it. So it's not that big of a deal for me. Now, the front display obviously has been drastically increased. No, that's a joke. They pushed the corners out a little bit. Instead of a 6.8 inch display, it's a 6.9. So for me, what does that equate to? Well, it equates to even more beautiful footage being filmed, or excuse me, watched and enjoyed on this large display. You get beautiful content straight up and down. It's just a wonderful sense of, and I'm going to get to this right here too, by the way. I'm going to get to the streaming on here with the Galaxy, the connection. This is one of the reasons that I swapped it out before, but you just get a beautiful, I mean, they filled it in a little bit more. It looks great. There's no getting around it. I'm going to scan to a part of this video where it's a lot, not so sunny. I think at the end here, you get beautiful footage. Who wouldn't want a well-uniformed screen with just a little pinch hole right there? Who wouldn't want that? Like, watching content on this ginormous screen is so beautiful, man. I mean, just look at how beautiful that is. It's just great, man. I'm so glad that Samsung still makes some of the best displays, if not the best display, on most of the phones that are out today. It's just a good thing. Audio quality on here is superb. Very loud speakers on here. It's just done right. There's not much to complain about when it comes to multimedia, because this is something that they do well. It's just great. This has been my experience because I've been watching a lot of content on this phone, and it's just really, really good. So it's a matter of perception. You're going to perceive this as good or great or not good or whatever you want to do with it. That's on you. But I will say that I think this is one of the most beautiful displays, and it's always been that way with Samsung products, especially the Ultra line. The displays are just good. Audio quality when listening to stuff is on par with anything else that you can think of when you're going to watch a movie. Speakers blare out really nicely, and it's just done right. Now, I'm going to go to a negative, if you will, because originally, remember, I returned my first one because I was having some connectivity issues. Well, I'm not having any connectivity issues this time, but I've just accepted the reality that the Ultra lineup just doesn't perform on network as good as some of my other devices. And that's just been my experience. Where you live and your carrier and everything else is going to determine how well you're going to get service. Now, my service with Visible is flawless. There is no hiccups or anything with this phone. It's not dropping calls. The Wi-Fi isn't dropping like on the other one. So obviously the other one, I was holding it wrong. And some people thought that was funny. But something was definitely wrong with my first one. This one, I'm not having any of those issues. But the reason I said I'm going to a kind of a negative side is because I literally compared this phone over as you can see, I'm on the 5G ultra wideband Verizon, but it's just not, it just doesn't perform as well as some of the other phones I have. Nearly all of them just about perform better. I don't know if it's if they, sometimes you feel like companies are cutting corners. You don't know what they're cheating or escaping, they're cutting on. Maybe they got with someone, or maybe they are doing a cheaper version of their antennas or something. I don't know. But some of you guys will chime in and say, well, mine is flawless. Well, I respect that. I'm glad yours is flawless. But when I stream, yes, I have 1 gig internet up and down, but I just don't get on the internet like that if I don't have to. But sometimes with this phone, I just have to turn on Wi-Fi. And I was really about to turn on Wi-Fi when trying to stream that video, but I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to see what happens as is, real time. And it eventually caught up. But most of my other devices, when I'm using them, the internet is just flowing, especially the OnePlus 13. It flows with the internet. I just don't turn Wi-Fi on sometimes. It's just good. So I've accepted the reality that this phone is probably the antennas that are being used. Maybe the quality, maybe Samsung's skating on that. Maybe they're just using lower quality products internally. We don't know. There's going to be people that says, no, this is what it is. Okay, you have no official word from Samsung, or you don't know what's going on in the back room. We have no idea if they're cheating or escaping on the products internally. We don't know. But I can tell you from firsthand experience, comparing these to other devices I have, the service for the antennas, like the using the internet, is just not as strong as the others. So with that negative out of the way, here's something that I do love. Now, this is something that I've always said I liked on my OnePlus devices, and it is now basically you're able to do it on Samsung. You can long press and shrink the folders. I think this is just got to be one of the best. This is something that, because then what happens is you don't have to go into the folder. You can just press it and it goes straight in. That is a huge plus. That is what I like about the OnePlus software, and it's been like that on my OnePlus since I had to open or whatever. And it's just a good feature. So obviously now Samsung has incorporated this, and I guess this is a feature in Android 15. But I had it on OnePlus before Android 15. So no, maybe they're just doing it now. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong and tell me, hey, Jay, that feature's been out, but Samsung just delayed it. Okay, whatever. The fact is, it's here. And I really can appreciate that this is what they're doing now, because I think it saves time. And that's something that I don't like about my Apple products, is going into the folders. I don't like going in and having to go get the stuff. It might sound petty but it's an extra step. And if I'm on a mobile device, mobile computing should be swift and easy for me. I want it to be as simple as possible. The lowest number of steps to get something done is great to me. I want to work efficiently. I don't want to have to work hard on my smartphone. And I'm not saying it's hard to open a folder, so don't go dig that deep. I'm just saying I like this functionality. Now, some other things I like about this new menu here, this drop down, this panels and settings, you can actually move these around to where you want them to be. You can put stuff wherever you want. I think this is a cool feature, and I don't recall that being on the previous generation phones, but maybe the new phones will get it too. But you have these where you can edit these, and you can edit the panels. You can keep them separated. You can keep them together. You can put them together. You can do them separately. This is just that top portion. You can do quick panel left side. You can do it however you want to do it, but being able to edit these right here and move them around, I like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this up here, because I feel like this should be up there. I don't know why that was there, but maybe I was playing with it or something like that. But now this is on the top, and then you can expand this down like this. I mean, Samsung software has always been feature packed. But I really like what they're doing here. So if I want to edit something here, so I'll just hit the edit button and edit in here, and then we can add NFC up there, just like that. And you hit done, and you can actually move these around as well. Like, so I can move this here and then put the NFC up there, and then hit done and done. And then now when I expand, location is there, and we can turn off NFC quickly. We can turn off quick share. We don't need to have that on. We can hit no one. So I think it's a matter of Samsung software has always been great, but using this day to day, I've been finding little stuff here and there. And I was watching Kia 2 Technical's video, and she was saying something about, some things that were going wrong with Good Lock. And I was like, well, I'm not, this time I'm not using it. So I was like, I'm glad I saw her video. I don't really need to get in there and mess with that. I'll just I'll look for her follow-ups and if something's gotten better or worse on there. So, yeah, software wise, wow, it's a great deal. I really love what Samsung is doing here. And I think they've always been feature packed. They've always had everything a person could want in one package for one UI. They've always been kind of the benchmark for overloading software. Even if you don't need it, it is there. And that's been the experience with One UI ever since they decided to call it One UI from TouchWiz. So software, I lead to performance. My performance on here, it's good. Like there's nothing wrong with this software in my experience and performance. So you start to couple, you see how I start with hardware, then you get to software. Performance is inevitable. It's going to have to be good because last year's generation, the 24, was good. It was great. There was no fails for me really. When I think about day-to-day tasks, my day-to-day tasks consist of, I want to point out that software here. You have to go down to the three dots here and you go to sort and you do alphabetical, and then you can now get the vertical scrolling because the horizontal scrolling is literally horrible to me. It feels dated on the Samsung software. So I'm so glad they incorporated this for sure. That's just a must. But anyway, performance, the phone is packing a punch. I mean, it's got the latest processor, so it better perform well. Simply put, it better do well. There's no reason why this phone should not be performing. We're early on. I'm giving you a 5-day follow-up, so it better be performing well. Other than an antenna things that I just don't like the way it produces my stuff when streaming and stuff like that. It could be that this phone doesn't want to work well on visible. It could be that. I doubt it though. I doubt it because it works flawlessly for everything. But sometimes when I want to stream, like I said before, it takes a while compared to other phones, pulling in down the information. So nonetheless, performance wise, you should not have a problem with day-to-day tasks. You shouldn't have any issues with like regular things that it's handling for the phone. So if you're new to the Samsung software, this is my baby girl. She is so big now. That's my youngest granddaughter. She is so big. This is one of her baby pictures. She was maybe 8 months, 6-8 months on that photo. Those cheeks. She's tall now, man. She's about, her birthday's coming up. She's a big girl. She's about to be 7, I think it is. But nonetheless, because people used to ask me who this baby is. So if you're new here, it's one of the grandbabies. My little chubby cheek baby. She's definitely a big girl now, but nonetheless, this is Samsung's One UI. This is the way it's set up. This is, to me, this is a good look. And now you're going to say, well, I never thought of it. Everybody has their own reasoning as to why they might like the way something is set up. On other Android phones, you have to go search for certain things that I have to search for certain things that I might want to get to. With this Samsung, I've always noticed with their software, I would just scroll all the way down and I would hit device care. This is where I live sometimes to check out certain things. And so with Samsung, you just scroll all the way up, hit device care, and you're into all the essentials that I want to check. You know what I'm saying? So I would go in here and check the memory. I'll check it out, clean it up. I don't have to come in here to do this, but I'm always searching in my phone for certain things. And with Samsung, it's just quick, boom, there we go. Now, Samsung does have RAM Plus, kind of bumping this to 20 gigs of RAM. Yes, I know basic edition. Everybody was like, Jay, that doesn't equal 18. It's actually 20. I know, folks, I was reading the screen. Yeah. Side note, I've definitely learned that if I fumble something, it just kind of, this is the way life is. People focus on your one mistake and forget all about the great things you've done. And some people do that to themselves. So guys, I'm human. I misread, I fumble, I make a mistake. So what? If you know my intent, take it for what it is. Now, 8 plus 12 is 20. Yeah, virtual RAM on Samsung phones operate a little different because you always have a lot less than you do on some of my other phones. I noticed that. I was like, man, there's a lot less. And I know they have that 1.1 in reserve, but I noticed that it performs a little bit different than some of my other phones. Strange. But nonetheless, I always shoot straight down to device care, and I'm right in where I need to be. And then I think this area right here is where I'm at a lot, checking things. Because you got your device care, your apps, and your digital well-being. Now, labs, again, I haven't really been using too much in the labs, but I'm always in this area right here for some reason. So with Samsung, I can just scroll one quick scroll, and I'm already in my area right there. So that is the settings menu there. But overall, folks, the performance, the battery has been great, by the way. It's improving. It takes a while. It takes about 3 to 5 days for your battery to learn your behavior. So how has my battery been? Because you're going to say, well, what's your screen on time? Or how long does the phone last? This phone is just doing, if I'm being honest, it's just doing a tad bit better than the Galaxy S24, or it's right on par with the Galaxy S24 at about this time frame, which means that it's doing great. Simply put, I have no complaints about the battery. It is what it is. Like, some things you're going to see over time, and that's just the way it goes. So I'm considering, or I have it in my mind, that this phone will be just stellar on battery down the line with more software updates and, just more support, just all of the above. And after about a week with this phone, that's where I'm at. The cameras, you're going to ask me about the cameras. I've been testing the cameras, and here's the conclusion I've come to, because I don't want to spoil some of the upcoming footage that you're getting ready to get hit with. It's not finished, but I'm incorporating this phone into videos. I did a comparison with this phone and 4 other phones. Tell me in this video where you think the phone ranked when it came to video. Tell me. Now, I like Samsung's footage for what it is. And I think when you compare it to some other phones, I was having this conversation offline. That's so crazy, but I'll go ahead and say it in this video. I've tested Samsung's footage against itself. So what I did was I recorded something, and then I took it off the phone, color graded it, and compared it next to the original. And I didn't do much grading. I really didn't. And the original footage just doesn't feel or look as good as the previous generations. It's weird. But when I color grade I didn't do this to a whole bunch of footage. This was just in my testing to test out these cameras. When I color graded some of the footage I took, I was like, wow, this looks more true to life. But Samsung's phones are known for like oversaturating. You know what I mean? Everything is always punchy. It's been like that for years. This isn't something that's new. You guys all know that this is what Samsung phones do. The way theirs is set up, the way my bank account is set up, the way theirs is set up, their phones tend to saturate too much for a lot of people, and people don't like that. They don't like that it's heavily saturated, and it's just not true to life. That's really what it is. So testing out these cameras, I'm impressed. I'm really impressed, but I'm not in awe. So I'll repeat it again before I get out of here. Where do you think these cameras ranked? Hoping I can get that other video out after this one. Where do you think these cameras ranked out of the other 4 competitors that I put it against? Well, Jay, what phones did you put it against? I don't want to spoil it for you. But a week later, folks, I'm good. I'm glad I bought the phone. I'm not in awe. Ooh, I do like the hardware tweaks that they've done. I love the beautiful screen. I love the battery. The battery seems like it's going to be on fire. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be really good. So I'm impressed, but I guess I should have been anyway. I was I'm really waiting to be awed and blown away by Samsung. It's not going to be by a trifold phone. Absolutely not. I don't think those will have a use case scenario for me at all. A bifolding, but not nah. I don't know. I have to wait and get it in hand, but I don't think a trifolding phone will impress me to the point, because you start to get into having a really thick phone again, that's when people should be concerned about durability with a trifold phone. But nonetheless, we'll see how this turns out. The Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is a good phone. It is a solid phone, but who should buy it? Do as I say, not as I do. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.